Have you ever experienced a moment of disrespect so powerful that it refused to leave your mind? Hours passed, maybe even days, yet the conversation kept replaying over and over. You remembered every word, every expression, every look. But what hurt the most wasn't the insult itself. It was the feeling it awakened inside you, the feeling that your value had been questioned, the feeling that you had been overlooked, underestimated, or treated as though you didn't matter. Almost every person has experienced this at some point. Sometimes the disrespect comes from a stranger whose opinion should mean nothing. Other times it comes from someone much closer, a family member, a trusted friend, a co-worker, or someone you once admired. Those moments cut deeper because we expected understanding instead of rejection. We expected respect instead of dismissal. Our natural reaction is almost always the same. We want to defend ourselves. We want to argue. We want to prove that the other person is wrong. We imagine clever responses long after the conversation has ended. We replay the situation in our minds, wishing we had said something different. But have you ever noticed something interesting? The person who disrespected you often moves on with their day while you continue carrying the emotional weight. They may have forgotten the entire interaction within minutes, while your mind keeps feeding the wound. Without realizing it, you've allowed another person to occupy space inside your thoughts and steal your peace. The Stoics understood this problem thousands of years ago. They believed that insults, criticism, rejection, and disrespect were unavoidable parts of life. No matter how wise, successful, or kind you become, someone will eventually misunderstand you. Someone will judge you unfairly. Someone will try to provoke you. The goal is not to eliminate disrespect from your life, because that is impossible. The real goal is to become the kind of person who cannot be controlled by it. This is what separates mentally strong people from everyone else. Their strength is not measured by how much respect they receive. It is measured by how little their inner peace depends on the opinions of others. History gives us countless examples. Many of the greatest philosophers, inventors, leaders, and visionaries were ridiculed before they were admired. They were ignored before they were celebrated. They were doubted before they were remembered. The world often laughs at greatness long before it recognizes it. If every one of those people had allowed disrespect to define them, history would remember them very differently. Today you are going to learn how the Stoics transformed disrespect into strength instead of suffering. More importantly, you'll discover how to do the same in your own life. The first lesson is surprisingly simple. Pause before you respond. This sounds easy until someone attacks your pride. When emotions rise, logic usually disappears. A harsh comment can instantly trigger anger. A sarcastic remark can make your heart race. An unfair accusation can tempt you to defend yourself immediately. Most people react without thinking. They interrupt, they argue, they raise their voice. They send emotional messages they later regret. In that moment, they believe they are protecting their dignity. In reality, they are giving someone else control over their emotions. Think about that for a moment. If another person can decide when you become angry, frustrated, or upset, who truly has the power? Certainly not you. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that our minds belong to us unless we willingly surrender them. No one can force us to react. They can only present a situation. Everything that follows depends on our judgment. Imagine standing beside a quiet lake. Someone throws a large stone into the water. For a few moments, waves spread across the surface, but eventually the water becomes calm again. Your mind should work the same way. Disrespect may create temporary ripples, but it should never become a permanent storm. That is why the Stoics practiced what we might call the discipline of delay. Instead of reacting instantly, they paused. They took a breath. They observed their emotions instead of obeying them. Because emotions are excellent messengers, but terrible leaders. The strongest person in the room is often the quietest one, not because they have nothing to say, but because they refuse to let emotion speak before wisdom does. Silence during provocation is not weakness. It is evidence of self-mastery. Now let's move to the second lesson. Allow disrespect to expose what still needs healing. Most people believe critics are enemies. Stoicism invites us to see them differently. Sometimes they become mirrors. Imagine an old castle with tiny cracks hidden beneath its walls. From the outside, everything appears solid. But when a powerful storm arrives, those hidden weaknesses suddenly become visible. The storm did not create the cracks. It simply revealed what was already there. Disrespect works exactly the same way. When someone's words deeply disturb you, ask yourself an uncomfortable question. Why did those words affect me so much? Was it because they were true, or because they touched an insecurity I have been trying to ignore? Perhaps you fear failure. Perhaps you secretly seek approval. Perhaps your confidence depends too heavily on what other people think. The insult itself may not be the real problem. It may simply uncover something inside you that has not yet healed. This is why the Stoics believed every difficult person could become an unexpected teacher. Not because their behavior deserves admiration, but because they reveal where our emotional discipline is still incomplete. Consider a blacksmith forging a sword. He repeatedly places the steel into intense fire before striking it with a hammer. Without heat, the metal remains weak. Without pressure, it never becomes sharp. Character develops in much the same way. Every insult, every rejection, every act of disrespect, every unfair judgment, each one offers another opportunity to strengthen the parts of yourself that once felt fragile. People often waste years trying to silence every critic. The wiser path is to become so secure within yourself that criticism loses its power. Think of a mighty oak tree standing alone during a violent storm. The wind pushes against it with incredible force. Branches bend, leaves fall, yet the tree remains standing. Why? Because its greatest strength cannot be seen. Its roots reach deep beneath the surface. Human confidence works the same way.
Walking alone
if your confidence depends on compliments,
often it means
praise, or approval, it has shallow roots.
Walking alone does not mean nobody
cares. The first strong
about
wind
you.
will shake it.
It means you are learning.
But when your confidence is built upon your values, your discipline, and your character,
walking alone does not mean
outside
weakness.
opinions become little more than passing weather.
No circumstance can easily
Some people
take
will
away.
admire you,
And when that
others
strength
will
is
misunderstand
finally built,
you.
you no longer fear
Some will
being
support
alone,
you,
because you have
others will
discovered something
criticize
far more
you.
valuable.
None of those
than
opinions
constant
change who you
companionship.
truly are.
You have discovered that
The Stoics
wherever life
understood that
takes
identity
you,
should
you
never
are
be handed
capable of
over to
standing
strangers.
firmly on your own.
Character belongs
That is when
to
solitude
you,
stops feeling like a burden
not to the crowd.
and starts becoming
So the
one
next
of the
time
greatest
someone
teachers
disrespects
life
you,
can offer.
resist the urge to
Because
ask,
the ultimate
how do I
lesson
make
was
them
never how to
respect
find
me?
more people.
Instead ask, what
The
is this
ultimate
situation
lesson
teaching
was
me
how to
about
become
myself?
whole.
That single question transforms every insult into a lesson and every difficult encounter into another step toward becoming emotionally unshakable.